Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ESA Rivals Playday number 5. As you can tell, Keg's not introducing this time. Decided to switch it up a little bit. It's going to be Lynx, but of course, I am always, as well as last Monday, joined by the amazing and beautiful Keg. Keg, how you doing tonight?
You know, Lynx, I'm doing pretty well. I have my water with me. I'm all set for today's games. I think we're gonna have a fantastic play day from both sets tonight. With Goin Nuclear versus Revenant starting off first, we're gonna have a really interesting matchup here. Revenant has been primed up and ready all day. I've been checking out their Twitters, all their social medias and stuff, and they're primed and ready to go for tonight. Goin Nuclear is still not in the lobby yet, so maybe they're gonna trail behind a little bit. But who knows? Maybe they're playing slow start right now. Once they all get in, they'll have a fiery head start over everyone else.
Before they came here, they just got their annual reading of a weekly, I suppose, reading of Tortoise and the Hare, and they're following that strategy. The Taurus, slow and steady, does win the race, and hey, maybe that means we'll see a 2-0 coming off from Goin Nuclear. But again, we're not in the match yet, still waiting, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, the Tortoise and the Hare is my favorite book, right up there next to
Good Night Moon.
I don't even know. Good Night Moon. I don't know any other books. Every other book, I don't think I can mention on stream that I can think of off the top of my head. I guess there's like 1984.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm a bit uncomfortable.
Our producers whispering in. Yep, our producers whispering us a bunch of titles I don't think we can mention on stream, but they
Probably
do make
not.
one. It's a great movie series, though. Great movie series.
I don't know if I agree with that, but
I mean, it's a pretty good movie series. But we are waiting on one more right now. The first map, of course, I'm not sure if we've done map bans just yet, but I'm going to spoil it for you guys anyways. It's going to be Clubhouse starting off first, and I think you can use the power of deduction and T3 in general to figure out what the other two maps that are decided for set number 1 are going to be. Of course, as usual, we did see Goin Nuclear take down Theme Park. We also have Consulate going down as well. Oregon, unfortunately, going down as well. That's probably the one wild card that most of the audience would have gotten wrong. But other than that, I mean, you're down to your standard Clubhouse, Cafe, and Villa. Lynx, are you surprised?
No, not really. I mean, the consistency is appreciated. I can't fault them for that. At least we can pretty much know what we're going to play every week. So maybe that's a silver lining. But again, if you're us, and I'm sure many people, you like to start seeing some variation in maps. But hey, you're going to see some practiced maps and some efficient takes at the very least. And going into the map history for both of these teams, the last time Goin Nuclear played Clubhouse was last week, where they won it 7-4 against Wasted Potential. Revenant, on the other hand, we have to go all the way back to play to number 3, where they won 7-5 versus, well, Wasted Potential as well. So we got that. We got that. Not consistency. What's the word I'm looking for? Correlate. I can't think of the word. It starts with a C.
Causation? No.
It's something with a C. But either way, they have that congruency. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I'm not much of a mathologist, so I'm not really
sure. I'm
not
either. Yeah.
I know it has something to do with like geometry or geology or whatever. But
sure.
Going off of what you said though, a little bit of more meta history going back between Wasted Potential and Goin Nuclear. That was the cursed match as well, where we had to do quite a bit of rehost. There was a lot of internet issues.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, between those two teams on Clubhouse, and it did end up in 7-4 in Nuclear's favor. And none of us were really expecting for Goin Nuclear to win, first of all, and win at such a huge margin either. So, I mean, Goin Nuclear, going off the heels of that last match, looks like right now we're not going to have any technical difficulties starting off. So, I mean, that could been a factor for Clubhouse, but without that being here right now, Goin Nuclear needs to build off of the success they had against Wasted Potential last week up against Revenant right now. Now, if they can build off of what they had before, they can repeat what they did on Clubhouse, and I believe it was a very, very aggressive, not only defense, but an attack as well. And if they can build off of that, they might be able to give Revenant a huge run for their money.
Absolutely, and give them a run for their money is exactly what they need to do. Goin Nuclear, they're tied with Revenant in the standings right now, both at 2 points each. So this matchup actually means quite a lot for both teams. They'll be much closer to Digital Dynasty in second place, and whoever wins, they'll be tied with them. And we'll go into the first map to try and see what the start of this series will be and who might be just a bit closer to evening that scoreline with Digital Dynasty. As you can see, Revenant, they're starting off the attack. Goin Nuclear will be starting off on the defense. And as Keg, you and I so often like to talk about the bans, they're our favorite part. Yes. They can often dictate what side might have the advantage going in. So what are your predictions for this attacking ban? I have a feeling what it's probably going to be.
Of course, and I'm going to skip over it because we already know it's Thatcher. But yes. Lynx, if you remember last time, we did have to stall for a little while we solved some technical difficulties, and we went on a huge tirade about the operator bans inside, especially Clubhouse. And to no surprise, last time I believe it was Thatcher, Maverick, Falcon, maybe Kaid, but no, there you go. Your Capitao is banned. Now, Lynx, I will save you the whole little shtick here. Capitao is one of Lynx's favorite operators. It's
Oh,
someone that
yes.
we don't really see utilized too often when it comes to attacking play. And sometimes, especially with the Wamai probably on board still for this round, it's to his dismay because it can add a huge wild card potential. But with Echo going down as well, it's going to be one last defender. And honestly, this could go either a completely vanilla pick like Mira and maybe on the side of Valk as well, or we could see a completely wild defending choice as well. But Lynx, what do you think?
Honestly, this could go either way. That kind of fourth ban is always a wild card. Could be a Wamai, as you said, or a Mira. So honestly, that was probably the two I would go with. And no, it'll be the third one you mentioned. It's going to be the Valkyrie. Was Black Eyes being taken off the board and the C4 as well. She normally gets banned on maps like Coastline or Consulate, but Clubhouse certainly not following the same pattern as those two maps. But again, not all that uncommon and not all that unreasonable. More importantly, that means the Wamai will be in play, and with Capitao being banned, he won't have to worry about catching those fire and smoke bolts, and they can just focus on catching, the standard flashbangs and frag grenades that we usually see Jaeger and Wamai's gadgets being used for.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because, at the beginning of the season, we didn't see too many Valkyrie bans, but as this season has progressed on so far, we're seeing it more and more commonly to the point where I would say for at least the last 2 or 3 play days on Mondays, we have seen a Valkyrie ban every single time, either on every single map or just about every map, at least once. And I mean, that extends on to sometimes Cafe as well. I'm not sure which two teams did it, but we did see a Valkyrie ban as well.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Going into this first... Oh, sorry. I was about to say, going into this is going to be a standard CC hold. What'd you say? What'd you just say to me, Keg?
You stole the words right out of my mouth.
I did.
That's what I was trying to
snatched
say.
them. I just snatched them right out of your mouth. They're all mine now. They belong to me.
Are they delicious?
Oh, dude, they taste so good right now. Just the linguistic perfection inside of the words. It's just marvelous. It's wonderful.
Like alphabet soup.
It is like alphabet soup, quite literally. CCTV though, that first bomb site that we so often see teams go to. It's usually either that or basement. More often than not, it is CC. And again, pretty standard hold, all things considered. Jaeger, Smoke, Wamai, Kaid, and even the Doc are all nothing rare to see on a CC defense. Teddy will likely be playing up on those garage rafters with those ADSs stuck just behind in a position they can't be easily shot out to defend him. And with that ACOG, he'll be able to contest that main door, but his main goal is to waste time, and with those 3 stim pistols as well, not to die. The Kaid and the Wamai will also likely put some of their utility to defend him from projectiles, and specifically the Kaid, that garage door, to make it harder for Control Freak to be... Oh, more importantly, Maverick's not taken off the board. I just realized I'm so used to it. I didn't even register it for a second. Maverick being on the board means that getting flat wall, as well as even garage wall, or any wall in particular, they can bypass that hard breach denial, and it's a lot easier for the attack. And already, in contrast to the previous Clubhouse matches we've seen, the attacker having a much easier time just with that Maverick being in play.
Absolutely, the Maverick in play can be an absolute game changer for CCTV especially, but it looks like right now it's not being opened up immediately. It's going to give some breathing room for the Jacuzzi side of things. Neo already making their way inside Jacuzzi, and it's going to be support on the Wamai inside construction right now. That might give a little bit of difficulty for this push going west to east. Now, as Rev keeps going forwards, he is going to find a little bit of issues with that Wamai as long as they're holding that angle. A little bit of damage going to be taken down. A little bit's actually an understatement. It's going to be quite a bit of damage going off the Ash, but if you did have to lose one right off the bat, it should be the soft breacher like Ash. But as long as the Maverick stays on board, honestly, this could go either way for the round. But we're at a bit of a stalemate right now, though. Halfway into the round, Rev is going to be pushing up through their own flashbang. Maybe it was Wamai disc, I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like he ran back onto site. Now, that's going to be a huge turtle maneuver that we actually don't really see too often anymore when it comes to Clubhouse on just about any site. It looks like there are absolutely no roamers in play.
No, we normally see at least somebody maybe playing down in blue. I know recently we've seen quite a few defenders go, well, over the course of ESA over the past week, we've seen quite a few defenders go for a very deep roam down in basement to go for a late flank either up main stairs or blue/red stairs once the execute goes down. And with 50 seconds remaining, depending on how efficient Revenant's clear is, you might be wishing you had one of those roamers. But two of the attackers, as Keg said, Neo and Control Freak, are both on reduced HP, and Neo basically sitting at about 15. One bullet will take out the Ash. thankfully, the drone economy coming out from Revenant is still fairly strong. One hatch has been taken out, but there's still, if I can figure out some math real quick, about 6 still, maybe 7 actually, still in play. That means that they still have plenty of time and utility to set up their execute with 20 seconds. It's getting down to the wire, and they need to start taking this map control. They're still stalling out inside of basement. I'm not entirely sure on the flat wall process, but depending on if it's still closed, that could be the defining factor of this round. Teddy takes out Dubby. The first attacker taken down. Neo responds with a kill onto the Wamai, but he's already used all of his magnets, and they go for the push in. Home shot being taken out. The attack, what a great execute, but they haven't taken care of the garage control. Hard support takes out 1. Teddy's still in garage. He picks up 2 more. They don't have time to get the execute down. Going nuclear on the back of a less than efficient clear coming out from Revenant. They take their first defensive round on CC.
I mean, it's funny enough. They say there's a 20-second meta going on right now, and that attack really did officially begin at the 20-second mark. Unfortunately, it seemed like 20 seconds was just not enough for these attackers. They felt really pressured to go back onto the site and really make that final attack. And while at first I do think it was going really well in Revenant's favor, unfortunately, just, after that first attacker went down, it turned into a really big snowball effect. Towards the end, we did see that 1v3 situation, and again, there's not really a whole lot to analyze other than that Goin Nuclear just kept winning those gunfights a lot more than Revenant. They were able to hold down their positions really well, and yes, there was no roamer, but they also didn't really need to have flank watch whatsoever because of how the attack went down. My main concern, though, Lynx, is that we're going to be going to church this time, which does allow a little bit more breathability with those fast defenders, like a roamer like Unlimited's Jaeger, and maybe Teddy now, I believe, switching to the Legion. I'm not sure if he was before, but that will give a little bit more breathability, but it also allows the attackers to have a lot more venues to attack as well. Now, I know in some recent playdays for other leagues, we have seen some crazy choices like a Warden playing on the Iron Shield near dirt, but it looks like we're not seeing that tonight. This is a much more orthodox and conventional hold, which would probably maybe be, I don't know, I guess I'm trying to do percentages in my head, so I'm not even going to, lie to you. I think it's like 75-25 anchoring to roaming, which I think is the best for Church.
I agree. Out of all the sites that you normally see, about 4 or 5 defenders, usually 5, play on site on Clubhouse. It's going to be basement, and the operators Going Nuclear have selected. Well, it's ripe for that. We often see the Legion and Jaeger. One of them will play in blue and around dummies, respectively. Usually the Jaeger in blue and the Legion playing dummies around that dummy rotate. But once again, since there is a distinct lack of roamers, Revenant won't have that hard of a time clearing out that third and second floor. But the problem last time was, despite that, they still weren't able to obtain the necessary map control. For example, the dock on top of Rafters stayed there the entire time, despite Dubby, who is also playing Maverick this round. Well, he's got 2 frag grenades, and sure, you have to clear out those ADSs, but frag grenades, aside from Capitar bolts, they're the second best thing to clear out anchors playing in that position. Now, translate that, for example, Unlimited, likely playing down inside of blue, who's actually playing at the bottom of these main stairs. I completely lied, and he's not even looking! Neo just walks down, and Unlimited, he's so focused on reloading his gun, he doesn't even pay attention. The Jaeger, he's taken out immediately. Support as well on the opposite side of the bomb site is already down at 1 HP. He's still got 2 impact grenades. Likely he'll be the one impact tricking that kitchen hatch, and there you go. He's sitting right there, but one stray bullet through any of the impact holes that the defense has made, he's going to get taken out, and Going Nuclear, they'd be left in a 3v5.
In just about the polar opposite fashion from what we saw the first round, it's going to be an explosive start for Revenant, taking down Unlimited. Again, yeah, Lynx, I don't really know what Unlimited was trying to do. Normally when you play this game, or really any FPS game, you reload and move away from a very obvious entrance.
Or get in cover at the very least.
Yeah, cover, like, okay, well, you know what? Going past that now, Teddy's going to be taking a little bit of damage as well. Support barely hanging on with his life. It's going to be a split push all throughout the map. We do see one on top of blue. One's going to be kitchen hatch, and it looks like 2 are going to be moto hatch as well. But it's going to be a bit of a stall out once more. Kind of biting by that 20-second meta. It's going to be the blue push that is going to get a little bit of action going down. It's Riddle who's trying to find some shots off onto, I believe that's going to be Teddy, but not going to find a whole lot. But Home Shot instead does find Neo at first. Now, Neo was the first to go down last round on Revenant's side as well, so it's going to be 2 for 2 this time around. Home Shot, unfortunately, not going to be able to survive that kill for much longer. It's going to be Ben who takes them down. The 3v4 right now, never mind, 3v2. Yeah, 3v2 all this time, but Ben is the last one alive. He's coming towards the main entrance, and he's surrounded by bullets, but he manages to find one. double kill in his favor. He's looking around, trying to see what the next step is. But if you're in his position right now, all you really have are your skeleton keys. You can't hard reach. All you can really do is rotate and pray that the C8 will be in your favor. But you have seemingly no intel where the enemies are, and it's going to be hard support to take advantage of that and to find Ven's head. And that's going to be another round going to Goin Nuclear side. Keep in mind, they had Revenant had the opening pick, and they still dropped the ball.
I have to say, that blue clear is so confusing. I mean, the Zofia clearly knew that the Legion was there, or they knew someone was playing in blue. We saw her take the time to try and clear those ADSs with her Zofia charges. And you wouldn't do that if there was just nobody in blue. And she still just walked down the stairs un-ADS'd and then died to the very operator she tried to clear out. I don't know if that was a miscommunication or if she just plain old forgot. But either way, that was one of the critical components of why the attack lost that round, despite, as Keg said, they scored the opening pick onto a rather oblivious Unlimited at the bottom of main stairs. And I guess they took a page out of his book and continued to be a little bit oblivious to the possibility of that Legion playing inside of blue. I guess overall, that was just a thrown round from Revenant. They were in such good positions. They opened, at the very least, they opened Moto Hatch. I'm not entirely sure about Kitchen, but even then, you've still got one of the hatches open to execute onto Church, and they just threw away that opening advantage, threw away all that map control, and Goin Nuclear won a round they honestly probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, absolutely, Lynx. I really think, with all the soft breach we saw come out of Kitchen, and from the hallway connecting out of Kitchen as well, all the hatches were open. All the angles were there for Revenant to take it over, but they just seemingly could not find those gunfights. And so far, 2 rounds in, that has been the story of Revenant's loss so far, is that these last second gunfights have rarely ever gone in their favor. Unlimited has Neo has gotten the best gunfight in the entire game so far for Revenant's side, and that was against Unlimited, who didn't even really fire back. But going to round 3 right now, we will be going to Gym and Bedroom, and it's seeming like we're having a very cards close to yourself defense once more. We do see the castle barricades coming out in CCTV, and we've been seeing this for a lot now. We actually have 2 bodies inside of CCTV. It's been droned out, but it's gonna be a matter of whether or not it can be taken over. We're seeing a very jacuzzi-sided push right now, and that's not gonna really contest CCTV whatsoever. Either they're gonna be forced out of their positioning as these bomb sites get attacked, or they're gonna stay there until the end of the round and just kind of bide their time for that last second retake.
That's another worrying move, because as you guys saw with that CC defense, they left the dock, I believe Teddy, sitting inside of Garage, and as a result, he later went on to kill 3 of the attackers that round, getting 60% of the kills, and, well, basically not being pushed out of that position is something I would hope that Revenant would have learned from, but instead, as you can see, they're leaving 2 defenders to sit to their own devices inside of CCTV, and as Keg said, solely focusing on that jacuzzi side. If they continue down this path and they don't even try to contest with the actually 3 defenders all sitting inside of construction and cash respectively, then come execute, we're going to see some peeks outside onto that south balcony, and they're going to have to contest with 3 defenders once again when they try to get that execute down. This is just, they're just making so many easy they're actually making just a couple big mistakes, and it's going to end up biting them later on.
Absolutely. Now, something to keep in mind is that hard support is no longer the smoke. They're going to be transitioning over to the mute. That does have a C4. Is that going to play anything? No, it's Neo getting the opening pick onto Teddy. That's going to be your hard anchor going away. That's a big yikes situation because you don't have your Maestro anymore. Ven takes down hard support. C4 not going to be used this round. It's going to be another one injured. That's the Zofia going down. But home shot finds Neo again. Always the first one on Revenant to go down. As the, I believe, primary entry for Revenant's side, it does make a little bit of sense, but so far it's 3 for 3. We haven't seen a net profit in these opening picks. Home shot finding another kill on the control freak. 30 seconds left, and it's down to a 3v3. Again, we're at a bit of a lull right now. Nothing really progressing on either side. It's going to be the Zofia that does get picked back up and rotating around through Gym. But no, it's not to be. It's going to be support taking down Riddle, and that's going to be Dubby going down next. Then, once again, in a 1vx situation, very end of the round. Something we have seen time and again, but same exact story, same exact conclusion. Goin Nuclear winning 3 rounds in a row.
And there you go. They took out the 2 defenders that were sitting on the site, the Maestro and the Mute, and actually, no, it was the Maestro, yes. I distrusted myself for a second, but they took out the 2 defenders on site, and good on them, but again, they didn't deal with those defenders inside of CC, and they rotated over, didn't get too overly aggressive, didn't take any gunfights they didn't need to. And as we've seen in these past 3 rounds, Revenant just aren't able to handle those very last late-second gunfights and those late-second executes going into the final moments of the round. And as a result, Goin Nuclear, they've completed the perfect cycle. If they win one more round, they're exactly where they want to be going in to their attacking half on Clubhouse, whether they lose 2-3 more after this. Revenant, they're just making these same mistakes every single time, and they have to start adapting at this point, because if they don't, Goin Nuclear, they're going to keep steamrolling them as they have been, man advantage or not.
Now, something interesting to note on Revenant's side is that Riddle is actually the first entry and Neo is the second entry, but funny enough, it's kind of been showing to be a little bit of the opposite when it comes to the actual in-game play. We see Neo making these hyper-aggressive movements, being the first one onto the site always, 100%, getting those opening picks, usually for Revenant's side, but then he's always the first one to go down as well. Again, not a net profit right now. It's going to be completely neutral with Neo going 3-3, but even then, I think you can agree with me, Lynx, is that usually when Neo makes that first kill onto a defender, it doesn't really make too much of a difference overall for the match. Because we saw Teddy going down the last round. That was your Maestro. That should have been in Revenant's favor. And we've been saying that a lot this game so far as well, where these rounds should be going in Revenant's favor. But once that opening pick begins, it's kind of just a huge stall-out game or a losing gunfight central on Revenant's side.
It certainly is, and going into CC, this will be the very first time that Revenant are going to be able to correct the mistakes they made on this very same bomb site just 3 rounds ago. It's looking like a similar east side push, but once again, opening plat wall as well. A split push, you could say, because they're split up in 2 different positions. That's why it's called that, just so you all are. I know. Keg and I aren't the brightest, so we had to practice for like 30 minutes, like split push, 2 different spots. It was rough.
I'm an art student.
Exactly, yeah. Both of us, we're like kind of liberal arts majors, not the biggest. Neo will continue to be the big opening fragger. He's got 2 opening picks so far, and this one will be the Wamai to go down. Going down in the first minute as your Wamai, it looked like he might have been getting aggressive on that construction doorway. Very ill-advised push if that's the case, and because he's been taken out, he no longer will be able to generate those magnets going into the rest of the round. Likely only able to get 2, maybe 3 down, 4 at max. But even then, either way, you want the maximum value coming out from support, and he could just be on cam duty as his sole contribution. Unlimited as well will be put down to 25 HP. And Revenant are certainly taking more time on this attack. They've gotten plat wall open quicker, and they've certainly registered that Teddy is on that garage balcony. He'll dock himself back up to full HP, but he is out of stim pistols. So any more damage he sustains, that'll be it. Neo picks up a second kill onto hard support. The defenders inside of Cash are just getting a bit too aggressive. Home shot will answer back with 1 kill onto W the Maverick, but he's already opened plat wall. That's a key piece of map control for the attackers. Neo continues to take ground for the team, and he just makes an entry into Cash. 2 more get picked up. Neo's got 3 so far. He'll be down, but it's just Unlimited left in a 1v3, only with 25 HP. We've seen Goin Nuclear come back with these man counts before, and it won't happen this time. Ven gets the final kill, and Revenant look almost like a different team in that 4th round, and they pick up their 1st round on attack.
Yeah, I think what was really important for this last round and compared to the others is that not only were Revenant playing more as a team, because we've been seeing them play as a team, especially, the last time we had seen Jim and Bedroom, they played as a team there too, but they were playing much more aggressive this time. This time it wasn't disproportionately Neo just running and gunning this time. Everyone was finding those peaks. Everyone was finding those angles to take down a whole bunch of different defenders. And again, the opening pick did come from Revenant's side, which was a really big help, especially with support going down first, who's been pretty much one of the dedicated anchors for Goin Nuclear side, which was really important. But having that just consistency of all pushing it at once, all trying to find those kills instead of just droning out and just playing a more passive game, really made a world of difference against Goin Nuclear side. But going to church this time could be the same exact story as last time as well. Keep in mind, Neo did run down those main stairs. 1 second.
Y'all good? Well, either way, as Keg said, we'll have to see if Neo makes another entry down main stairs. I bet Unlimited will learn from his mistakes last time and try and reload in a bit more of a covered position, more advantageous position. He's got 0 kills so far, only playing Jaeger, which is a bit unfortunate if you're going to be somebody's playing Jaeger, they're going to be one of the main fragging powers on defense. And if you have 0 kills, that's unfortunate, to say the least. And it is the exact same setup coming out from Going Nuclear. We have the Maestro, who'll be playing below Kitchen Hatch. Teddy and Unlimited likely playing in their same positions as well. If Revenant were able to adapt last time, I'm a bit weary about Going Nuclear playing the exact same setup this time. It was a 1v3 by the end, technically a 1v4 if you count Neo being down, but it wasn't really going to be much of a factor in that DBNO state. They might just be able to dissect that defense going into this second time. They'll continue on that same path they attacked last time. Neo will make his entrance inside of Gym. Continue down main stairs as drones, as you can see, Dub and Ven both droning out that strip side. And Riddle, he's playing on blue just like last time. I hope at the very least he won't make the same mistake previously and just forget that Teddy the Legion is there. But Revenant, they're not stalling out like they did last time. They're getting aggressive. They're trying to take these positions, and that's something we can admire, and something, if they won in last round, it could very well win at this one. And Neo, he's already going to start that, getting that first kill on a home shot.
Absolutely. I'm getting a big sense of deja vu right now. It's going to be home shot instead, this time going down first, but no, through the floors. Unlimited finding Neo. Kind of a reversal of the last time we had seen Church, but it's going to be a lot more soft breach coming out once again. Now, the soft breach looks like the vertical plays are going to be a little bit more of a benefit this time around for Revenant's side. But you see the Thermite and the Maverick holes working in tandem to open up bar hatch. That's going to be really important because last time we had seen that final push on Revenant's side go down that hatch. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to fully go down the hatch, but you know, it does happen. And with a minute 20 left, it's going to be just trying to figure out where they can open up next and find this next peak. Right now, we're not seeing Riddle poke down blue again. It's going to be waiting for Teddy to possibly push up, but the likelihood of that is probably around 0%. And now it's just a big game of looking for these angles and trying to figure out the stall a little bit of time and wait for those defenders to make a wrong move. But right now, nobody's making a wrong move. It's going to be a huge drone fest right now, Lynx.
Absolutely, Going Nuclear. They're not getting aggressive again. They're not taking these gunfights they don't need to. Last round was a bit of a deviation from that, with the two support duos of support and hard support taking some aggressive gunfights they likely didn't need to. But now with the man advantage being even going into these final 30 seconds, that's exactly how the defenders need to start playing these rounds. Because the attackers, they have to come to them in order to win. And Riddle, he'll try to come to Teddy playing inside of blue. He now definitely knows that the Legion is there, but with the goo mine in his foot, he'll step back to take it out. And now the time is slowly ticking away, and the time, it is being so effectively wasted. Teddy, he goes for a peek, lands some crucial shots onto Riddle. A risky gunfight will go the way of the Legion, but he's got one more to contend to as Thermite dies across the map. Teddy, he does take out, and it's now just Ven left, and he doesn't even stand a chance. He dies about half a second after. And Going Nuclear, they showed that last round was not a precedent for future success on the side of Revenant. It's going to be another Going Nuclear round.
2 rounds in a row, or at least 2 Church rounds in a row now, where we've seen Riddle peek down blue very aggressively. From 2 different angles, of course, but even then, still dying to Teddy the Legion twice. It's not going to work out if you keep peeking blue like that. I'm not sure how the Zophia's drone game was. I think, you know, Legion was droned out yet again this round, but it just was not capitalized on properly. And it's just a huge struggle once you get all those hatches open. It seems like no one on Revenant's side really wants to make that final push to go down onto that bottom floor. It seems like everyone wants to find these vertical angles and just not take any risks. And in the end, when they're forced to take risks in, say, sub 30 seconds, they lose these gunfights because they feel pressured and they have to move on to the site. They lose that positioning. They have the ACOG. They have the weapon advantage, Lynx. But they're too, I don't want to say they're too scared, but they're too hesitant to push forwards. And I don't think they trust their team enough to really make sure that, hey, you have my back, right? And let's take these angles together and work on this. But instead, it's going to be Going Nuclear who's able to find these angles and just hold it down. They're using the lack of roamers. We haven't seen a single roamer so far on Nuclear side, and they're taking full advantage of that. And maybe it's something that Revenant's not used to either. But we will be returning to CCTV once again, and CCTV has kind of gone 50-50 so far for both teams. We've seen Nuclear win the very first round of the game going CCTV, and it's also going to be a few rounds ago where we saw Revenant win. They played really fast. They had their teammates trust each other. They had each other's backs. And if they can continue it on CC again, we're going to see that 2-4 split.
Smart decision from Going Nuclear. While they did lose last time, Gym Bedroom was also Ooh, just somebody playing very aggressively on this Jacuzzi wall. It's the Kayat of all operators. If you're going to try to... I'm not entirely sure what he'll be using this for. Unlimited, he also makes a great entry. He's not sitting on site anymore. He'll be roaming downstairs in garage, I believe, taking out the Zofia immediately right off the rip in the first 30 seconds. But now home shot, once again, all the way across the map inside a bedroom. He'll have to contend with 2 attackers, but instead he makes the smart decision. He decides to play it safe and rotate back inside of construction and wait for the push there. I think overall that's good. He's already used his Electroclaws, but he still has a C4 in his pocket, and that is so critical for a defense going into a post plan, or if the diffuser is getting put down by the attackers, to try and deny from below. So continuing to just apply some not active pressure, but some consistent ones. Always that thought in the back of the attacker's mind, okay, there is going to be somebody in construction once they draw him out, and they have to actually put in the effort to take him out. Going back, though, great pick by Unlimited. A bit of a misplay by Riddle. Unfortunate he got taken out in the first 30 seconds. Not sure if that was a peek outside, but either way, losing your Sophia so early on, that's going to be a major blow. And speaking of major blow, home shot. How do you win that gunfight? Neo is completely watching where you're peeking. He just takes your head off, then takes out support. Home shot as well. He's on low HP. So it's about even in terms of man count and HP, but these have been some great plays by Goin Nuclear so far.
A minute and 12 left on the clock. It's going to be Teddy and Homeshot still left alive. Your 2 anchors, your 1 speed and your 3 defense. But no, never mind. The cross peak pixel angles coming out from both sides. Then takes down Teddy, and that's going to be your dock down. Luckily, we saw those stims go down right before his ultimate sacrifice. And it's going to be Homeshot with that C4. The last one with a bulky amount of armor still left alive. It's a 3v3, 40 seconds left. Hard support does take down Control Freak, and that's going to be your Thermite completely gone. You're out of somewhat hard breachers. You're down to your conventional, unconventional ones with your Maverick. But again, you still have that advantage. The C4 does go down. Unfortunately, it does not seem like it's going to connect. And you're down to just trying to figure out once again how to get onto this site, and we're seeing the struggle come out once again in Revenant's disadvantage. It's going to be the Maverick down below, making his way up the east stairs, trying to find that flank while the shots go down from Ven. But it's going to be Dubby with that flank, taking down hard support, bringing it to an even 2v2. But with 10 seconds left on the board, you got to stop pre-firing and figure out how you're going to get on the site and take down these final shots. Unlimited this time. I think this is the longest he's been alive so far in the game. Unfortunately, as I say, that commentator's curse going down. It's down to a 1v1 and through the wall. It does not seem, actually. It's Homeshot taking down Ven, and it's going to end in a bit of a stalemate going in Nuclear's favor.
He flicked him for a second. He even tricked us. We thought he might have somehow landed the shots, but home shot, again, just like he did with that initial push and that initial response to the attackers pushing over by that master bedroom side, he didn't get too over aggressive. He opted to play it safe and not take a gunfight he didn't need to. So when the push came in and Goin Nuclear started to lose their man count, it eventually became a 1v2. All he did was wait inside of cash and make the attackers come to him, and he took out this legend. At that point, he's like, all right, I've done my job. I just need to take cover, hide, and hope he doesn't get a lucky wall bang. And when he didn't, the defenders won the round. And now you're 5-1 going into your attacking half. This is above and beyond where you need to be. Only thing better would have been a 6-0, and those are oh so rare to see. So Goin Nuclear, they're going to be feeling good. But something that I want to point out, Revenant, there's such a top-heavy team right now. I mean, look at Ven, and then look at Neo. 8 and 7 kills, respectively. And just look at the 3 from there. 0, 2, and 1. And these haven't been... Neo, he is their entry, so you know what? That makes sense. And Ven, he's also kind of on that entry as well. Sledge, more of a flex position. But Riddle, he's been playing that Zofia. He only has 1 kill so far. He is one of their entries. And sure, it might make sense that W and Control Freak, they're not going to have many kills. W's only got 2 in Control Freak. He has 0. You'd expect maybe a couple by now. But it's basically a 2-man effort coming out from Revenant. Going into their defense, they're going to have to start putting in some more work beyond just utility and droning, and putting in some work more physically if they want to try and take some of these rounds.
Absolutely, Lakes. And starting off again on CCTV, this time on the opposite side, it's going to be those dedicated roles coming out again. Control Freak on the Maestro, I think, is the safest option for him right now. Going 0 and 5, he can just sit on the Evilize the entire timing with the Alda, get those last-minute kills, and really rack up those points. But with that being said, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe it might be sticking to the same mantra as we saw him go in Nuclear's defense, where there aren't really many roamers. I believe there is one downstairs near the near generator, but that's just about it. It's going to be, I believe, the Mute on East Stairs right now, watching for Unlimited going down below. It is the Mute, yes. But there's a huge stockroom push as well. Unlimited does find Ven. That's going to be your Jaeger completely gone. And with one of your top frags going down, you're actually the top frag going down, going 8 and 5. That's going to be a huge, gigantic loss on Revenant's side. But as long as everyone else stays exactly where they need to be and takes those angles, all should be fine for the defense. It's going to be a matter of whether or not Teddy and Gang can hold those same angles and play as aggressively as we have seen Revenant do so in their only winning round so long ago.
Neo as well is playing aggressive on those blue stairs, despite the fact that, well, Kayet is a little bit beefy. He's a 3 armor, and the AUG isn't exactly known for its killing power. He'll be the other roamer, but again, to be fair, not much in terms of roaming being brought by Revenant, so you have to make do with what you have, and Ven being taken out, he's going to be the sole pressure that Revenant will be reliant upon to apply, well, some pressure to the attackers off-site. With Ven being taken out, that's going to be a major blow, and Riddle about to be taken down as well. Revenant there on the back foot. Oh, but Control Freak, he tries to take a few steps in the right direction. Headshots Unlimited right through those floorboards. Hard Support will finish out the Wamai, and it's a one-tap, I believe, from Support to take out Neo. That Kayet I mentioned, who's the other top fragger for Revenant, well, he's gone as well. Control Freak will continue to try and bring this round back into his favor. Takes out Home Shot. Mark's coming out will mark the 2 attackers currently playing on Garage Rafters. And it's just up to the Maestro and the Mute, who've been fairly silent so far in this match, to try and make an impact. W, he'll go down with the C4 from below. The pings are coming out, and he misses the C4. Oh, Tubby. You can't be missing those, and as a result, they'll get the plant down, but Control Freak, he's trying so hard. He will not lose. He takes out one more, and he gets taken out in response. Hard Support deals a death blow to the Maestro. Now it is Dubby. He's got to redeem himself for that missed C4 toss by killing the final 2 attackers. He spots one with health outside of Platwall. The other one, the Tracers will come through. Spotted inside of Garage. He lands a great shot on a Teddy, and now it's just Hard Support on 25 HP, and he can't land it despite that. Going nuclear with a great execute that was almost singularly halted by Control Freak on that Maestro. They go to match point.
Match point going in Nuclear's favor. I mean, that was a really solid round from them. I really thought Control Freak could bring it back with that 3K, but unfortunately, it just was not enough in the very end. The cross pinch coming out from Rafters and from that CCTV wall balcony was perfect for that post-plant situation. Had Dubby gotten that C4, easily would have been Revenant's round, but unfortunately that arc is sometimes a little hard to get used to with the C4s, and it just happens. But going to match point right now, we'll be returning the Church in Arsenal once more. Now, interesting to note is that there's no Mute on the board. Otherwise, this would be the perfect SSG roam, as it's called.
And a castle.
And a castle, yes. But instead, we do opt for the Alibi and for the Vigil, which is something you don't see too often, especially the Alibi coming out. But there's no dedicated anchors going around right now for Church, so I'm curious to see where these Alibi prisms are going to take place. Now, when it comes to Alibi, you don't see here too often, but there's a lot of different schools of thought about how to use these prismas. Do you want to use them as in, you know, you can detect pre-fires if you want? Do you want to put them in places where you think the operators at the very end will shoot them and give away their positions at the very end of the round, or towards the beginning for the anti-roam clear? That's what makes Alibi so interesting, is that she's very versatile with her very simple gadget about what she can do. And I'm curious to see how this is going to go down once the round starts. The Mozzie, of course, and everyone else, we know exactly what they're going to do. It's going to be a lot of intel, and also with those drones being hacked, intel denial. But it's going to be a huge roaming game, and something we're not used to in this matchup between the two teams so far.
It certainly is, and we've seen a lot of turtle strats being brought out, so it is a nice change of pace, albeit I do get a bit tired of seeing SSG roam or SSG roam adjacents being strat. It is kind of overplayed, but hey, still. It is always fun to see new stuff being brought, and the roaming is certainly something new. Both the Alibi and the Vigil were the two we've seen so far roaming on or around that top floor. Vigil, as you can see, both Vigil and Alibi playing inside of Master Bedroom. The roaming duo, you could say. Not really focusing on one position to hold. They're just roaming generally around that area. Mark will come out onto specifically the Vigil, and he's already low at 25 HP. Might have gone for a peek out that Master Bedroom window, and as a result, he won't barely get anything for it. Unlimited, he's taken out to 75 HP, and Home Shot takes out and finishes off the Vigil. Now that he's gone, the Alibi is in a great position to refrag, and there goes your Maverick taken down as well. However, Going Nuclear, important thing that hasn't been noted so far, they're bringing 2 hard breachers with the Hibana and the Maverick still on the board. They won't have much of a problem taking out those hatches and those walls in and around Church, Moto, Kitchen, Blue Hatch. All of them will still be able to be opened. And with no Kaid being brought, they don't even have to worry about any wall denial to stop them. Homeshot, he continues his reign of terror, taking out Ven. That's the Mozzie, and there's still one last element of the roaming duo left, but Homeshot, he's just in sight. Nobody's watching and trying to stop the push into Moto, and he's just completely there. His team's going to have to play catch-up to try and get this diffuser down, but he's got 10 kills so far. If there's anybody you want holding down the enemy team's territory, it's going to be Homeshot. And despite the fact that the attackers are on site, it's all but quiet. He's holding the blue rotate to try and take out any defenders. He'll just spot the Jaeger, but he's not able to land the shots necessary. Riddle, on the other hand, he's taken out to 25 HP. And he's going to have to rotate back to site to help the impending storm. And Homeshot, he waits for so long and no backup arrives. He's taken out behind that church bar. Now the defenders have evened the man count. It's going to be easier, but Teddy, he's still giving them a run for their money. He peeks into blue to try and find the Jaeger playing inside of there, and he just spots the Legion, but again, not able to land the shots necessary. This mistake being capitalized upon by Revenant, it's not going too far, but with the diffuser getting planted, it's going to be much easier. Unlimited, he'll take out Riddle, the Alibi. Now it's a 2v3 the defenders find themselves in, both on reduced HP. This could be where Going Nuclear seal it out, and it's going to take a monumental effort from the defenders to try and pull it back. W, he's holding down that main long hallway. He continues his pre-fires down behind that bar, but he doesn't find anybody either. Now he's at 25 HP. It's all up to Control to try and deal with this pressure. 2 are inside of Moto. 1 at the bottom of main stairs. He sees the Tracers come out, but now it's all up to him. He picks up 1. He's got to pick up 2 more, and it won't happen. Going Nuclear. They end Clubhouse at a dominant 7-1 scoreline.
Yeah, that 7-1, 7-2 scoreline's something we've been seeing a lot happen lately when it comes to Clubhouse. I'm not sure why. It's been happening in both attack and defending side of the games, but overall, Going Nuclear doesn't even matter when it comes to attack or defender sided, because it was pretty much just nuclear sided, riding off the coattails of that last game between them and Wasted Potential. This is around the same exact scoreline we actually had seen between them, I believe. Between Going Nuclear and Wasted Potential, it was 7-2 in Nuclear's favor as well. So whatever Nuclear does for Clubhouse just seems to click really well for them. But that next map, what's up?
No, I was going to say, one important thing to note, that was Revenant's map pick. So Going Nuclear, they borderline flawless Revenant on their very own map pick, and now Revenant, they're going to have to try and beat them on Going Nuclear's map pick. So going forward, Going Nuclear are probably in the best position they could be. I just wanted to bring that up because I realized I hadn't talked about it in game.
Fair enough, yeah, and I mean that's a really important thing to mention as well, because if you lose your own map pick, that is a really bad sign.
It's demoralizing.
Very demoralizing. And with our next map being Cafe, that's even going to be worse depending on how the defensive side goes for either team. But we do have a 5-minute break, and we will see you then. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ESA. We have a fantastic matchup for you right now. We actually had one beforehand that was really cool as well if you didn't see it before. It was map number 1 between Revenant and Goin Nuclear. Now, a little bit of backstory for Goin Nuclear. They actually had a matchup last week on, you guessed it, Clubhouse between themselves and Wasted Potential, where they had a very decisive 7-2 victory over Wasted Potential. And it looks like this week isn't much different. Going against Revenant, they went 7 and not 2, not 3, but 7-1 against Revenant. And with my co-caster tonight, Lynx, that was a fantastic game to watch. And Revenant was struggling the entire time. There was never a round, except maybe I guess the one round they did win, where we could safely say, yeah, they're doing a good job. Now, of course, they're all really good players. The thing is that I feel like overall, it was their hesitation, mostly, I would say. It's not even that they didn't play coordinated. They played really coordinated. It was that hesitation that we see a lot of players have in this league. Not even this league, in this area of play, where they're afraid to just make that final jump onto the site. But with Cafe Dostoevsky, unfortunately for most of the sites, it's going to be the same exact situation where there's that huge stall area right before you get onto the bomb sites where there could be a lot of potential for the attacking team to just stop in their tracks and wait for those angles and wait for those defenders to push up. Luckily, though, it's going to be Cafe with Revenant defending first. It's going to be Goin Nuclear going on attack this time. So it could be the same story, but on completely different sides. But we'll be starting the map now, and Lynx, it's our favorite part, man. The operator bands.
The bands! Let's go, boys. We're in those operator bands. Also, one important thing to note, both Revenant and Goin Nuclear played Cafe last playday. They unfortunately didn't exactly have a good go of it. Revenant lost 7-2 versus Digital Dynasty, and Goin Nuclear lost it 8-6. So Goin Nuclear, and that was against Wasted Potential. So Goin Nuclear have a little bit of a better record, but not by much. Both still ended up losing it. So this is, I'd say, fairly even ground if that's anything to go off of. And speaking of even ground, we're on the exact same ground that we always start out on Cafe bands. Because Thatcher, Keggy's taken off the board first. Make your best surprise face and pretend like this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know who the next attacking band could be. It could be a variety of things. I would say this is the big wild card that we're about to see. And it's going to be Capital once more. It's going to be a target band, I suppose, going out. Now, I do want to add on to that Goin Nuclear Wasted Potential matchup on on Cafe that we saw last week. Now, for a while in that matchup, it was actually, I believe, 6-3 in Goin Nuclear's favor. But then we had some sort of a legendary rehost happen. And I don't know what granola bars or whatever Wasted Potential ate during that time. But they didn't lose a single round. And Wasted Potential ended up winning 8-6. They won 5 rounds in a row since that rehost. And the operator band's not too surprising. We do see the clash come out, which not very often to be seen. We didn't see a clash on Clubhouse. So I'm curious to see if there was a strat in mind for a clash that one of the teams wants to bring out, but I don't know. I think it must be a safety pick overall.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Clash is certainly an annoying operator. I don't think you'd find anybody on the planet that would disagree with you on that point. So getting her off the board will certainly be Bikini, absolutely. Getting her off the board it'll be a bit of peace of mind for the attackers that they won't have to say bring a Cali or have to have some necessary coordination in order to try and take out her shield and get her off the board. But also, more importantly, we have to talk about the operators that are left in play. On the attacking side, Nomad and Gridlock will both be on the board. You rarely see Gridlock get banned, but you do see Nomad get banned on Cafe every now and then. But since both are in play, they'll likely set up her air jabs, or Sport on the Nomad specifically will set up those air jabs in standard flank spots on the bottom of red stairs, likely red stairs doorway as well, really in any spot to try and deny a flank from wherever the attackers are pushing, which usually ends up over on that red Christmas side of the map. On to the defense, Maya's in play. Capital being taken off the board once again means you won't have to worry about those smoke bolts and those fire bolts, and it's going to waste so much time for the attackers clearing out that top floor in that Cigar Christmas area, which has been a big problem for many teams in ESA, no matter what rung of the ladder you're on, rivals, contenders, champions. A lot of teams can stall out on that top floor, and since the site is Cocktail, well, that's half your execute right there.
Now, something interesting to know, and I want to branch off of what you were saying, is that there's no Wamai being played on Revenant's side of this first round. Instead, we have the Mozzie come out. Which, again, we do see Mozzie sometimes when it comes to the bar cocktail defense, but overall, no Wamai, and we've been seeing him being used almost 100% on that pixel angle inside Cigar, but this time he's strangely absent. I have a feeling if this round doesn't go in Revenant's way, we're going to see that Wamai come out probably for every other round going forward. But right now, we can see what Neo can do with that Mozzie. But starting off, it's going to be a huge drone game going down, and it's looking like it's going to be a top-down clear once more. No one on the attacking side even bothering, it seems, with the second or third floors, and that's going to be a really good thing for Revenant's side because, again, it doesn't really seem like the roam game is entirely there. Actually, as I say that, I do see quite a few roamers down below on the second floor, and as we say that, there are 3 C4s in play as well.
We'll see some of those defenders, probably the Mute and Neo both playing downstairs at some point in the round. Riddle as well, as you can see that Jaeger currently playing down inside of Train. We'll round out that roaming trio for what the attackers will have to contend with if they want to make sure this execute gets set up without too many hiccups in their plan. Another possible position for Control, and one where, as you can see, he actually is playing, is close inside of Bathroom with that shotgun. If the attackers try to contest him at that angle, he can pretty much take them out with ease, and what they'll have to rely on are the 2 frag grenades being brought by Home Shot and Heart Support. One has already been used by the Sledge, and while I'm talking about that, Heart Support has been put down to 50 HP, not due to any bullets, due to a Maestro Evil Eye that I believe is still on the board. I couldn't quite tell if it got shot, and it is on the board. That's going to mean more utility the attackers will have to replace. But while we're talking about utility, look at this. Look at this beautiful hole right there.
Oh,
he's going to open it, and a frag grenade, he's going to cook it. Won't even matter because support, they've got the coordination, that Heart Support, that support coordination, you could say, since, you know, their names are both support. I'll walk out now. That's all.
Wait, what?
I know. I actually love that, though. I do really like the fact that their names are both basically like that.
With 45 seconds left, I'm sorry, I have no idea what you just said. But with 45 seconds left on the clock, that C4 from Control Freak was not used at all. Unfortunately, that Maverick hole would have been the perfect opportunity. Speaking of perfect opportunities, though, it's going to be Teddy finding Riddle once more. Let's be your Jaeger gone as well. You lose out on his wonderful rifle that can be a magic maker, but Home Shot goes down as Home Shot takes down Neo, and that's going to be the Mozzie, who did not really contribute a lot to the match as far as we can tell. Ben, though, does find some shots, taking out Home Shot, and that's going to be the first one on Goin Nuclear off the board. As we say that, however, it's going to be Ven with the C4, and W gets one as well, and it's going to even the odds to a 2v2. 5 seconds left. We're about to hit 0-0, and these defenders are still planting. Where are the attackers? Where are the defenders? They need to do something, but no, it's going to be Unlimited who finds Ven, taking them down. It's going to be the Kite off the board, and now you're down to W once more on the Alda, trying to figure out what to fire at next. Of course, they do find the IQ, and it's going to be Maestro versus the Nomad. It seems like the Nomad has no idea. Did not hear the big burly boy. That's going to be one knife. Is W going to get the double kill knife? No, not wanting to go for it. Not wanting to take the risk. It's going to be W with the double kill regardless into the defuse. And round number 1 is going to be Revenant. Now, fun little fact, this is going to be the first Revenant win in about 7 rounds? I think? Yeah, no, 6. It would be 6 rounds. Yes.
Well, either way, I was about to say, I'm glad Neo said it in chat. He's on Revenant, but one important thing to ask is, I guess maybe Support's ears might be broken as well. I physically do not know how the Maestro shot about 10 feet behind you, and not just one bullet, about 7 or 8, and he just didn't turn to try and challenge the Maestro. He just sat there with his back turned, and, well, he died. There's just not much else to say about it. I mean, in a 1v2 post-plant position, I know it's Maestro, and he's got 81 bullets, but at the same time, that's just such a strange misplay by Support to just not hear the Maestro literally right behind him. He's a 3-armor as well, so he's going to be extremely loud, not even crouch walking. I don't know, just curious plays all around, and
attackers need to locate
the entire time. Yeah, where are the air jabs too? You didn't have any on red door. Maybe they already got triggered, but I don't know. Again, just confusing all around. And I mean, hey, great comeback by Revenant to pull that out. It was a 2v5 clutch from the Kaed and the Maestro, so we can commend them for that. But all around, that was just confusing, and Goin Nuclear and a bit of a reversal of fortune. They're the ones that actually, despite, well, actually, they didn't even get the opening. I don't know. I'm just confused overall by going Nuclear that round.
Yeah, it was a really weird round all around, but you were right. Goin Nuclear did get the opening pick, and that was also a C4 going completely away with that mute going down first. But I'm doing like a mental map in my head of Bar and Cocktail and where that Nomad possibly could have been that round. And those air jabs should have been where that Maestro was, no matter what. But unless it was like dedicated to 3 air jabs, maybe to red stairs, that's all I can really think of is the not having the utility go off. But, you know, we're on a new round right now. Support, once again, going to be on that Nomad again. Hopefully, we can see those air jabs be a little bit more into fruition. It's going to be the Goyo inside of Bakery this time. Neo's going to be hiding behind the Bakery counter, but there's no Doc in play. We've been seeing sometimes Jaeger and Doc coming in tandem near that Bakery counter and getting a ton of kills on this Bakery entrance. But instead, no, it's going to be Neo by himself looking for those opening pop shots. Now, I do want to focus on hard support for a second. He's on top of an... I don't even know what kind of car that is. I'm not much of a carologist. But he has a prime angle for taking out Neo right now. Now, if Neo does not want to play aggressive and just holds that angle inside Bakery, they are stuck there for pretty much the entirety of the round. But on the contrary, it's going to be the it's going to be the Maverick. The hard breach are also stuck. But it doesn't matter because we have Ven taking down Neo, and hard support takes down Neo, and it's going to be... Wow, that's very confusing. One ends in Neo. I just realized that. But it's gonna be a 1-to-1. It's gonna be your Zofia and your Jaeger going down. That's gonna be a really big trade. But
what?
It doesn't end there. Ven takes down Unlimited as well.
I have no idea how the IQ just lost that engagement. Physically, no idea. Home shot, he gets the refrag onto Ven, and that was a very coordinated play by Home Shot and Unlimited that unfortunately just didn't end up panning out, despite the fact that the IQ had the intel on the castle that he was playing crouched outside that Bakery double door. Now it's 2v3 that Goin Nuclear find themselves in. Control Freak will be put down to low HP as his C4 flies out and doesn't find a single attacker. He doesn't have to worry too much, but now they do have to start worrying. Riddle gets a bit over-aggressive in support. He capitalizes off that and takes his head clean off. And now it's even man count that Goin Nuclear find themselves in. Home shot, he's still got one frag grenade, and he'll chuck that right into the back of sight. But they're playing a Wamai, something they didn't bring last round and something that Home shot didn't successfully deal with, and his frag grenade gets eaten, and now they're just going to have to rely on intel and gunplay to win this round. The defenders have 45 seconds. As long as they don't get too aggressive and they allow the utility like those proximity alarms and surely some more... Well, I was about to say some more intel, but really all they can rely on is their ears. They can use their ears better than support did last time, then they might end up winning this round. And just that Bakery double door where that IQ lost that engagement, that's where they'll be pushing. The Kaid gets taken out, and now it is just on that Wamai left to clutch a 1v2. They did it before, they won't do it a second time. Goin Nuclear, they even at 1-1.
Yeah, fantastic work all around. It really could have been going either way towards the beginning once we saw those 2 opening picks go down, but I think overall, when it came down to it, Revenant just had a hard time adapting around the split push attack that was coming out from Goin Nuclear's side. At first, it was very, very, I guess, almost disproportionately going towards Bakery. We had support. I'm sorry, we had hard support on top of the little, I don't even know what car. I guess a Prius or whatever. I'm gonna call it a Prius.
Prius.
Aiming down inside of behind Bakery counter, and that was the Jaeger and the Goyo pretty much accounted for right there. But it was main lobby where we saw the majority of the action go down. It was going to be that barricade, the castle barricade opening up, and those opening engagements went down accordingly as well. It became a really big western push, and then centralized around an eastern push, and I don't think the defenders were ready to have that momentum shift go around them. But speaking of momentum shifts, we're seeing reading and dining come out this time around, and starting this season, we've been seeing a lot more reading and dining from the highest tier play and trickling down to even, you know, much lower play, even like ranked play. We're seeing much more dining and reading come out, and it's one of the hardest sites in the game to attack and defend. I would say that for a lot of the teams that don't have a particular strat or may not have the most refined strat, and feel free to disagree with me, Lynx, I would say this is the most even bomb site in Rainbow Six.
I'm not entirely sure about that, but again, I think we would both need some stats in front of us to really have a well-educated, intellectual discussion about it, and we only have 3 minutes to watch this round and see if it ends up being as even as you said. But if anything like last round is the indicative of, it could be even this time, and the result was a 1v2, something that Revenant were able to clutch last time and not going to, and maybe this time they just might. Oh, we might have a TK. Oh, look at that,
Oh,
Riddle.
no.
Riddle, no. Why'd you
Oh,
gotta
it's
do
the
that? Oh,
Halloween.
he just gets taken out. Halloween skin, as Keg said. Then he says, look at the flowers like in Walking Dead. He just, pow, he's just gone. And no more
What?
stims. No
That's
more
not
stims.
a Walking Dead reference. That's
That is a
of
Walking
Mice
Dead
and Men.
reference.
That's of Mice and Men.
I mean, it's of Mice and Men, but I'm referencing the scene in The Walking Dead. By the way, speaking of The Walking Dead, I guess Heart Support is too. He just decided to lose that engagement. Control Freak takes him out with that SMG-11. Not even the shotgun at close quarters. That's 17 bullets secondary. He's going to reload it in its entirety, and W with that same weapon across the map takes out Unlimited. And just going nuclear, despite the opening pick literally being gifted to them, well, they were at a 3v4, now at a 3v2 as home shot. He brings it back. He gets 2 kills of his own on a Control Freak and W, the SAS operators, and the SMG-11 duo being taken out. And now Neo inside of Pillars, he'll spot one attacker that doesn't spot him in turn. It's a fireplace push coming out, and it won't even matter that the Jaeger's going in for a flank. Teddy, he's watching it, and now it's Ven left in a 1v3. And what do you know? The Wamai left in a clutch situation. It's almost like we've seen this before. We've seen it last round, and he's across the map from the diffuser. Support's going to get it down, and it's all but unwinnable at this point statistically. Ven does not have a very likely chance, and he's not even watching the rotate into laundry. Home shot gets his 3rd kill of the round and going nuclear. Looked a bit scary at first, but hey, on the back of the sledge, they brought it back, and they take the lead.
I do want to clarify that what I mean by reading and dining being one of the hardest, or I guess most even sites in the game, is that a lot of, like, most teams struggle regardless of which side you play on when it comes to that site. And we saw a lot of struggle indeed. Now, not counting the TK that was forced to happen on Revenant's side, overall, it just seemed like the defenders were playing a little too far off the site. We did see the retake come out from Ven, but unfortunately that didn't quite work out in his favor in that 1v3 situation. But even then, we didn't see anybody on site, which for the most part you don't really want to be on reading and dining, but even just lurking barely off site was really just down to the mute, and that didn't work out well either. It was an instant death. But there was a lot of upstairs presence, and that's generally how people do want to play that site. Main issue is that the stranglehold for that upstairs take was the MP5 dock, and unfortunately he did have to stare and look at the flowers as he was taken down by his teammate. But it does happen. Skins are a fickle subject when it comes to Rainbow Six, but the cosmetics are always fun. But we will be going to round number 4, and because of a little error like that, we will be seeing Goin Nuclear taking away the tie and getting that point advantage. We're returning back again to Kitchen, and this is where Revenant won. Actually, no, I apologize. This is where Goin Nuclear won their very first round.
10 seconds left.
And so we do have the castle on the board. It was there last time, but it looks like it's in different positions right now. For the most part, not really. Just slightly a little bit altered, going towards closer to the site, but otherwise mostly the same. Now, keep in mind what we saw before was a very big western push rotating towards the east, but again, it looks like now we're starting a little bit more fragmented than we did before, but this might just speed up the process a little bit. We're not seeing really any defenders on that eastern side in lobby, and no one's really there to contest it, even from upstairs it looks like, except for maybe potentially one on red.
Depends on if they rotate up or not, but with that air jab placed there, it's going to be much harder to contest the attackers as home shot. It's only 30 seconds in, and he's already breaking open the ceiling above that bomb site. You have to be wary about some defenders maybe taking an aggressive gunfight or two and take him out while he's doing his job on that sledge being the main soft structure. And you gotta admire Goin Nuclear's efficiency so far. They've droned out that 2nd floor, 3rd floor, realized that nobody's really contesting it that heavily, and they've just gone to work. They haven't even wasted any time or been too hesitant. They're like, all right, we have the map control. All right, just crack their necks, crack their hands, and they're like, let's get to work. And that is exactly what they're doing. Like, did you not like that? Did you not like the thought process? By the way, there was an air jab on red stairs. Dubby likely has probably shot it, and now he is about to rotate and kill the Nomad. And great patience to not take some shots onto that sledge, and there you go. Your main flank denial on those air jabs gets flanked, ironically enough, and now, well, he's retaken that 2nd floor control. It's just home shot, or it's left up to home shot to try and deny that. Unlimited himself will try to outflank the flanker through the exact same path that the Wamai took. He'll hold that angle. Now W, he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, but he's already done his job so far.
Yeah, it's a very curious situation for W to be in right now. Completely unaware of the Ash, though we do hear the barbed wire going off. I'm not sure if that's on red stairs or near the sledge, But otherwise, Dubby is, like you said, in a very, very difficult situation. But instead, no! It's going to be the frag grenade detonating off in hard support's hand, shredding into his brain and killing him instantly. Unfortunately, we're not going to see too much more Maverick, which desperately was needed for that freezer. But guess maybe not. Home shot does find Ven, and it's going to be Dubby. Still alive, not entirely sure where he went. But instead, now we do see Teddy. I believe, yep, him and Unlimited, the only ones near the site right now. Gonna be trying to figure out how they can make this final push, but instead it looks like it's gonna be done for them. I'm not sure where that initial shot came from, but it's gonna be the C4 going down, wiping both of them out. That's gonna be Riddle with a fantastic C4 play, but Home Shot's not done yet. He takes down Control Freak, and he does get a few shots into himself on his own. And now he's completely surrounded. If you see, one's on White, one is gonna be on Kitchen, and the other one's gonna be waiting towards the bakery entrance. Now this is a much more larger scale version of Between a Rock and a Hard Place, because he's surrounded by all facets.
What?
But facets turn into faucets of blood. It's gonna be Home Shot finding Neo, and Revenant do take the round. It's gonna be pretty much Riddle tripping over that sledge, finding that final kill, and that's gonna be a beautiful 3K from Riddle with that kill and 2 C4 kills at once.
He was right. Home shot rocked his world. He rocked his world. He literally just sent that man off the game. That man is just, he's on Steam. He's on his desktop right now. That was just brutal by Sledge. I mean, at this point, yeah, just TK him again next round. That's what a shot from Home Shot. Absolutely amazing. He's been performing so well this matchup. I believe he has 9 kills now. If we can just check the scoreboard real quick. Come on. Do it. I guess we're not going to see it. There we go. Yeah, he's got 9 kills so far, and it's going nuclear actually this time. Revenant were the top heavy team last time, and Home Shot, he's taking the cake right now. The next highest kills is Support, which is about a third of what Home Shot has, if any of you are doing the math at home. And I believe he also has more kills than his entire team combined. Doing quick math. Yes, that is correct. 2 more kills than the rest of his team combined. So you can't really rely on Home Shot just to do the work for your entire team. And also, Revenant, hey, okay, guess what? They have now beat their performance by 100%. That's a 100% improval right there from their clubhouse match.
Very nice. We love to see 100% improval, but anything from here will just be an extra 100%, right?
I
think so.
I don't think that's how it works. No, because 100% is doubling. So
yeah, well, so it would be, well, if they get another point, that would be triple, right? Right? Because it would be 200%.
200. Okay. Oh yeah, because it's 1. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're right.
Okay.
My bad.
Oh, it's the first time after.
That one's on me. That one's on me.
Whew. All right. But you know, math aside, right now, it's gonna be starting off a little slow right now. Usually, we see it becoming a little bit of high octane right off the bat that we've been seeing between these two. But no, instead, it's gonna be a little bit of just a slower matchup this time. 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and everyone's taking their time. That diffuser's still going to be on the ground, rappelling up, and I'm curious about the overall defensive line here. We do see the Mute again. We do see the Mozzie. Now, I had predicted in round 1 that when we first saw this defensive side, that the Mozzie was only going to stick around for 1 defense, and for the most part, I was correct. It was only around, I believe, for the initial bar, and I thought it would be replaced by the Womai next time we would see it, but no. The Mozzie is back, and the Womai from last round is absent. Now, the Womai has been putting in a lot of work in the rounds that it's been around, but right now we are seeing your classic cigar take again, but there's no Womai disc, there's no one holding Pixel, and because of that, this is going to make the attack a lot easier.
It certainly is. It's also a bit curious that Revenant, despite the fact it took a 2v5 clutch last time to bring the round in their favor, they'll try and even the odds a bit earlier on, or make the odds swing in their favor, I suppose. Neo with the C4 takes out Teddy immediately right off the rip of that Nitro Cell, and he gets a second one as Home Shot. Walks right into the great crosshair placement coming out from the Mozzie, and I guess you don't need to make some adjustments if the attackers just come to you and aren't all that cognizant of the roamers playing off-site. Hard Support will go for that same Maverick hole we saw in Bathroom Wall, trying either A, get a frag grenade kill, or B, have Support be the one to take the Mute out just like they did last time. And it'll be the frag grenade, the former of the 2 methods, to try and do it. Oh, but it's Hard Support. He's just not able to use these frag grenades. He TK'd himself last time. He missed one, and it gets ADS'd on the second time. That's just unfortunate, and he won't even get the kill. He'll get downed and finished off by the Kaed. And Revenant, they're the ones in the 5 this time in the 2v5 and going nuclear. It's another reversal of fortune for that attacking team.
A series of unfortunate events for hard support. You can't help but feel bad for him in that situation. The run out for Ven, getting the kill into the run out and still being running out right now, going through the bakery. Not much to really worry about though, because Unlimited does take down Neo and Ven is nowhere to be seen. So yeah, actually, yeah, it's a little bit to worry about. But the diffuser's completely gone, and it's gonna be Revenant through. Okay, down the hallway to take that with Control Freak taking down Unlimited. Oh my god, what an angle! All the way through the bathroom. You know what? It's just like that scene from Pulp Fiction with John Travolta and the Uzi in the bathroom. That's what it reminds me of.
That was, I mean, that's fair. That was kind of like close quarters though. Like he got up and then, not Vin Diesel. What's his name? Bruce Willis with the Uzi. It's like much more close quarters. But yeah, similar. It parallels a little bit. There's some connections.
It's the same vibe overall.
It does. Yeah, I'll concede that. I will concede that. Goin Nuclear, they basically conceded that round the moment. Well, I'm not sure if it was droning. That's what I would assume it is if they somehow managed to get C4'd from below. Or maybe, well, you know, it happens. Even if you drone them out, maybe they just forgot. Or maybe they just got unlucky with their placement, stepped on the wrong spot. And Neo, he just had some good timing. But home shot not being able to take that out, that's a bit unfortunate, especially because the Mozzie didn't really move all that much from where he got that initial C4 kill. It was inside of training or mining, where he used that C4 and blew the Nomad sky high. And he didn't move that much further beyond that, and home shot just walked right into his crosshairs. So the roam play, which was basically punished in its entirety last time, I believe those were all 3 of the first kills in that first round, they just remained downstairs, didn't get cleared out at all, and they was just one by one Goin Nuclear just kept making mistake after mistake, losing gunfight after gunfight, and Revenant, they're looking exponentially stronger this go-around on Cafe than they have on Clubhouse, and I think everyone, whether or not you agree with us on the Pulp Fiction gunfight scene connection, they can at the very least agree on that.
Absolutely. But they should agree with that as well.
They should.
But we are on the last round of the first half. It's Revenant's favor right now. They're 200% better than they did on the last map against Goin Nuclear, which would be Clubhouse. And again, it's interesting because this is not Revenant's map pick, it's Goin Nuclear's map pick. So it's really interesting to see that kind of opposite dynamic going on between the two teams. Each team picked a map and they're not doing well on their own map pick. So who knows, maybe it was VOD reviewing, it was targeted bans, no one will really know up until the players tell us. But it's going to be interesting because the Mozzie, like you mentioned before that last round, I think the main reason why he stuck down below is because he had those hacked drones up above. He had that intel. But we're not seeing the Mozzie this time. In fact, we're seeing the smoke and the mute come out, and that's going to be an interesting dynamic as well because it's the same utility, all things considered, in terms of guns. But you have the mute drones and you have the smoke, I don't know, what would you call this? Like little grenades, I guess. Yes, grenades.
Just toxic babes, smoke canisters.
Babe, yeah. But with that being said, though, we are about a minute into the round so far. It's a bit of a slower match again. It's going to be downstairs and reading, but the majority of the defensive hold is going to be upstairs. Then this time on the dock. No, it was Riddle that was TK'd, so we don't have illegal skins again. But he's managed to stay alive this time, which is really good because that is a huge stranglehold for the upstairs hold, having that ACOG and go far distance. But it's going to be Unlimited, who's in a very awkward position. Speaking of awkward positioning, losing their life on top of that bar counter. Neo, though, with the follow-up, taking down home shot. And those are going to be some of your best attackers off the board. Of course, as we say that, Teddy does find that kill on the Control Freak and evening out the odds just a little bit. Now, completely. But again, 3v3, you get those initial shots, and those are going to be 2 of your dedicated anchors dead. In fact, I suppose you could argue that are your only dedicated anchors completely gone. But you lost out on 2 of your soft breach as well. Was it worth it? We're going to find out in less than a minute.
This is a struggle to be in because with no breach charges on the board, they're almost completely out of soft destruction unless the Zofia wants to use some of her impact lifelines. But she's down below, takes out the default cam, and unless she rotates upstairs, this is where she'll be for the remainder of the round. She's already got 1 kill on the smoke, very impactful pick, but she's going to have to make more work until her team arrives. Jaeger, he's going to go for the roam up white stairs and support. He's just not even ready. That's one more time that his ears will fail him this time, and Neo takes him out. The last 2 attackers are currently making their execute through fireplace, as we have seen an oddly consistent fireplace push over the course of this past week. And this is where hard support and the rest, and well, Teddy, I suppose, since he's only 2v3, that's where they'll make their final stand. Boards are hard, and it's even harder to get the plant down as hard support gets taken out. Now it's all up to Teddy. That's Sophia left in a 1v3. He doesn't have much to do, and he's not going to get any more kills. Revenant, they push it to 4-2 on their opponent's map pick, and Keg, this looks like a completely different team than the one we saw in Clubhouse.
Absolutely. They seemed a lot more refined and know what they're doing on their defensive side this time around, but we'll be going back to the attack. And we did see Revenant attacking first on Clubhouse before, and it didn't really work out very well in their favor. They had only won one round before, but we're coming hot off the heels of Revenant getting 3 rounds in a row in this game so far, and it's worked out really well for them. Keep in mind, each round they won 2 links was each on a completely different bomb site.
Indeed, it was. It's just rare. You see, it's not rare, but it's always confusing when you see things like that. Or see things like this, I suppose. Just how such a team just plays so differently than they did previously, especially on their own map pick. Like if this was the Revenant we saw on their, sure it's Clubhouse attack, but they just looked so weak, and on their defenses it wasn't even close either. If we saw even a fraction of the team we're seeing right now, it would have at the very least been maybe a 7-3, 7-4. Not to say that Goin Nuclear, would have lost, because they certainly were the stronger team. It just always amazes me when teams make the change and make the switch like this. It does make for much better matches, and hey, going into the attack, maybe we'll see Goin Nuclear come back. And it was just the defensive halves that were making Revenant so much better as a team. But honestly, I don't think that's the case. I think Revenant, something changed in their mind. They've switched the mindsets. They got themselves collected. They're not letting that previous map affect their play too much. And I think we might be seeing a pretty close match on Goin Nuclear's map pick.
Yeah, you're completely right. What I think it comes down to, at least for the defensive side for Revenant before, was that we saw the supporting operators play a lot more defensively, of course, but they were able to keep their lives a lot quicker or a lot longer towards the very end. They weren't pushing anything, they weren't peeking anything really silly for the majority of the rounds, and they took advantage of that, and they did a really good job doing so. But you got to keep in mind, too, on the attacking side when it came to Clubhouse, we did see Neo push a lot of stuff without really much supervision, without really much backup as well. And from the looks of it, not really much drone work either. And that allowed him to be the first pick quite often. Now, sometimes he was able to get the opening pick himself before getting traded out, but overall, it wasn't looking good for him despite having an even KD that last game. But so far, so good. Everyone's still alive on the board so far this round. And honestly, I think by this time, just about every round on Clubhouse, we had at least seen 2 people go down. Now, of course, as we say that, it will be Bar Cocktail once again. This is a really slow attack for the most part. We do see the Wamai come out from home shot, and that's going to be an interesting dynamic to see because we did not see that at all on Revenant's defensive side. But instead, no Wamai on the pixel angle either, no iron shields in place. It's going to be a really turtle-heavy defense from the looks of it towards that eastern side.
Also, curiously enough, they didn't reinforce that bar wall, which is something that I certainly haven't seen in quite a while. And normally we would see some soft holes be put in it if that wall is left soft, but instead, there's not even some shotgun holes in it. It is just literally soft and completely untouched. And the attackers will have free reign to take it open. And since Ven is on the buck, an operator you don't see that often anymore, he'll make quick work of that with the skeleton key. Hard support tries to go for an aggressive peek. He certainly didn't need to. He just gets taken down. There were 3-4 attackers all inside of Cigar and Christmas, and he is just absolutely eviscerated by the coverage. Support will try to bring it back. Takes out Neo on the Ash, and Riddle gets one more as Neo also gets the refrag onto the diffuser holder from Control Freak inside of Cigar, and now it's a 3v3 left. I made a mistake earlier. It wasn't actually Ven to open up that wall inside of Bar. Maybe he rotated down. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, he is certainly upstairs now. That is without question. And Homeshot has taken up hard support's spot on that pixel angle. But it's Teddy to take out the buck as Riddle picks up one more. And it's an even man count as it keeps dwindling. 3v3, 2v2. And as ping's coming out, we could see it become a 2v1 as the defenders are continuing to hold their angles. And the Zofia just doesn't even know. Homeshot manages to take her out, but there we go. It's a 1v1. Even man count once more. But W on that gridlock, he's got to get the diffuser down or get the kill onto support. And with only 10 seconds left, he's going to have to make his mind up. He'll go for the frag. That's the smart move. But support, he's likely lying in wait, or he's just run away, and the gridlock can't not find that Maestro. And Revenant, despite their best efforts, he's going to get killed through the floor, and there you go. All the bullets rip up through the gridlock's body, and Goin Nuclear, they take their first round on their defensive half.
Very nice work overall, and there we go. Just even a little bit broken floorboard. Kind of gave away where that positioning was going to be. I don't think that was on purpose either, having that slightly broken soft breach there either. I think it was just luck of the draw, just exactly where to aim. Worked out really well for that Alda. Just tear through the floor and tear through that gridlock. But interestingly, is that Revenant actually used their gadget for the flank denial. We saw the gridlock come out, put the spikes down on red. They weren't used at all. But it's a lot more than the air jabs we had seen on Bar and Cocktail, which on the Nomad. And we didn't see a single air jab go off as far as I'm aware of, especially on red. But to be fair, too, it's been a different dynamic of defending styles, too, when it came to Bar, where there was a little bit more roam presence downwards, but no one rotated or even went for the flank. And now it's interesting, too, because we did see aggressive plays on that top floor, which you would think would be the opposite way around, you know, with hard support just swerving around without a care in the world with that shotgun, not able to find anything. In fact, no one was even close to that angle where the shotgun would be effective, except for the Maverick, who was still, I think, debatably out of range. But bygones are bygones, and we are going to the kitchen site once more. This is the same exact rotation that Revenant had chosen on their defensive side as well. It was the bar into the kitchen, and this is where Goin Nuclear won their first round as well. So it could be a little bit of a reversal of what happened so long ago, Lynx.
Really, who knows? Could be anything at this point. Who knows what's going to happen? Goin Nuclear, they're bringing it back. And you got to hand it to them. That was a very solid defensive round coming out. Very close. So not to say the Revenant were doing their jobs poorly and Goin Nuclear weren't making any mistakes. They certainly need to make sure that hard support isn't getting too aggressive on that mute, because it's not the kind of operator you want to see that aggression coming out from unless it's pretty like an 80-20 gunfight. You have a pretty solid bet you're going to get a kill. In engagements like that, you certainly can't take those anymore. Neo, he's going to take some map control for himself. Immediately the entry into Bakery within 30 seconds is already acquired. And that's a major part of the execute already dealt with for Revenant on this attack. And the other part will be the soft destruction up above. That is for a later date, though. Control Freak, he's just waiting to start opening up that Bakery wall with that blowtorch. W as well will be the second hard breach being brought by Revenant. Something I don't quite remember if we saw from Goin Nuclear, but either way, with that second hard breach, if Control Freak gets taken down, they can reallocate those resources necessary, and they don't have to worry about protecting Control Freak at all costs. Another contrast from Goin Nuclear's attack, or Revenant's defenses, I should have said, is that there is much more upstairs presence this go around. There's a Vigil currently playing inside of Tran, and I believe there is somebody playing inside of Pillars as well, and yes it is. It's unlimited on that Jaeger, and the duo will have a crossfire set up at that mining doorway, likely to try and go for a trade, or, again, set up a crossfire. If Ben tries to take maybe an ill-advised jump in through that mining window. Now a minute 30 has passed, and that second floor control and that hard breach denial, not all that much has happened in this round.
You're absolutely right. I mean, only now with about halfway through the round do we see that Bakery wall being a little bit tarnished with those Maverick holes going down. But Unlimited and Teddy holding that crossfire upstairs, stalling out Ven completely for the lack of vertical control is pretty huge for Goin Nuclear. There's literally no vertical control, and Home Shot finding, not one but two kills going towards Goin Nuclear, taking out Neo and Control Freak. You lose down on one of your biggest soft breachers, and you lose down on one of your two hard breachers. Of course, speaking of soft breach, not going to be happening this round. Home Shot again, taking down Ven, and Unlimited finds another one. That's a flawless round coming out from Goin Nuclear. Not a single vertical attempt coming out from the attacking side, and that cross pinch worked out really well. The stall game was completely there. And again, all the attackers really could do, all Revenant could do, was open up that Maverick wall just a little bit on Bakery, and that was it.
They eventually got it open, but I think Home Shot actually one-tapped the Maverick through the soft wall. Again, I'm not entirely sure on that, but if that's what Home Shot did, just an absurd player he has been so far, and that just compounds on top of that fact. He's doing so well in this matchup so far, and maybe Goin Nuclear might not have had the best time on their own map pick, but it certainly is Home Shot's map pick, and he feels comfortable, and the amount of kills he is putting up is certainly making light of that fact. And he hasn't even been on those main fragging roles. He played the Kayad last round, and he'll switch from the Maestro to the Pulse this time. Not to say that Pulse doesn't get his own share of kills with his C4 and Pulse scanner from below, but he's certainly not in the limelight that you would say Teddy and Unlimited were on the Vigil and Jaeger last round. And since Home Shot's on the Pulse, you know it's going to be a reading room fireplace defense, as that operator is played quite commonly on this bomb side. You usually see home shot, play down below inside to try and get a C4 on anybody playing, or any attackers trying to push that cocktail long bar, or really, since that floor has so much soft destruction in either Christmas or cocktail, it's just ripe for a pulse in any C4 play.
Now, interesting to note is that we've seen the dock every time for reading and upstairs for Revenant's side when they were on defense, but this time we don't see any ACOGs at all. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go down. We do have the Mute Mozzie combo. That could be a lot of drone work going down with, good God, 4 C4s on the board. So if this is going to be a top-down attack, Revenant's going to have a very difficult time. But sometimes, I mean, we've only really seen it once or twice, but a bottom-up attack has proven to show itself to be extremely effective when it comes to attacking, reading, and dining. Now, are we going to see that this time around? The answer seems to be no. We do see Neo poking around inside of Cigar, droning it out. Not going to find a whole lot immediately, but we do see some defenders also playing upstairs. I'm not sure if any of those are the C4 ones, but if there has to be one defender upstairs, it should be unlimited. Now, with that being said, it looks like no, there's not a lot actually going on upstairs. There's only going to be one body, of course, hiding behind the little mini bar. Counter, I'm not really sure what you would call that. That is going to be, I think that's unlimited, I believe.
It is unlimited sitting behind that cocktail bar, just waiting for the attackers to make a move. And he's the only one directly up on that 3rd floor. You have Teddy sitting back on those white stairs. But as you mentioned, the lack of a dock means that the horizontal play and contesting angles on the same floor as Revenant on this attack, it's not going to be the main focus for Goin Nuclear. They will be mainly focused on that play down from below. Unlimited will further that. He's now rotated off and jumped off that banister down on top of Brown Stairs, and it's Teddy, the final roamer, even close to up top to take out the first attacking operator. Riddle on that Zofia will no longer be off the board. And hey, they didn't bring a sledge this time. So that means that likely would have been the only real viable piece of soft destruction. You still have the Ash and her Ash charges, but the problem is there are now no breach charges on the board. And whether or not Riddle even had any, there's surely not any more now. But as I say that, I just realized they have the Buck. He's such an uncommon pick. I completely forget that when he even gets brought sometimes, so it's not even going to be that much of a problem. As Ven, he'll continue to open. He'll have to be wary of the C4s from below. One has just been used, and miraculously, Ven comes away with only 50 HP and damage despite the support placing it what looked like directly below where he stepped. It won't matter his hard support, he takes out Neo. Now it's a 3v5 that the attackers find themselves in. So hey, you still got Ven above the site. You still got a frag grenade in the Maverick torch left on Control Freak. You've got a lot of bodies to try and get through.
Despite having the man disadvantage right now, 3 of the 4 C4s have gone down on Nuclear side, and only one really did anything. It's going to be Ven getting scuffed up a little bit because of it, but otherwise, that utility has been completely wasted. Now, like I said, Revenant does have that man disadvantage right now, but Goin Nuclear might have a very difficult time if they can't win these gunfights. But as I say that, of course, they do win the gunfights. Unlimited does take down Ven, and that is going to be another one. Hard support getting aggressive and it working out this time, taking down Control Freak. Dubby, the last one alive, stuck on white stairs. No diffuser in hand, but getting one shot off. That's going to be a DBNO in Dubby's favor, but it's going to be support who secures it into a back-to-back flawless round from Goin Nuclear. Now, I was a little worried towards the end there because most of those C4s had gone out, and when you see a disproportionate amount of C4s like that on a pretty much entirely soft breach floor up and down, I thought those going down would spell doom, especially with the vertical play opening up from those C4s, but no. In fact, it was still a bunch of losing gunfights from Revenant, and I think that kind of goes beyond just being on Cafe or Clubhouse. Revenant just in general has had a very hard time taking direct on gunfights against Goin Nuclear, and the majority of the kills they have gotten were either from Goin Nuclear's mistakes on their own, or just them being caught from a wrong angle and not able to see Revenant, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, I get you. And going off like you said, with that many C4s that they missed, they still had 2 going in to the final minute of the match, so that's still staunchly in Goin Nuclear's favor. But we should have seen the attackers certainly gain at least a little bit more ground with the fact that 2 C4s went out and the attackers pretty much left unscathed. It was the gunfights that ended up proving to be the main problem for Revenant on that attack. And Keg, I'm just not sure why. I feel like maybe they could have gained some momentum back. That was the initial theory, that they might be gaining some momentum and would be winning more of those gunfights going into Cafe, especially with the 4-2 split that they had at that half. But they're just, again, as you said, not winning these gunfights going into the final minute and a half, minute of the round. And it's costing them. It's costing them so much. And Going Nuclear, once they got on defense, they're like, all right, guys, we're down 2 rounds, but we've got this. They've won 3 in a row. They've completed the perfect cycle. Now all they have to do is repeat that 2 more times. They don't even have to win 3 more bomb sites, and they'll close out the match for themselves. If I'm Revenant, I'm starting to get a bit nervous right now.
Not only that, the last 2 rounds from Goin Nuclear were flawless back-to-back. Not a single person went down on Goin Nuclear's side in 2 rounds. So far 3, but I mean, we have still yet to see the rest of this round go down. And it's going to be a top-down attack once again for Bar. There's not really much of a deviation or change when it comes to attacking Bar from pretty much any team. It's going to be mostly top-down and eyeing out Cigar. Sometimes you do have someone on that east wall at the far east near A site. Maybe open it up, but no, we're not going to see that with Revenant this time around. Now, curiously, we do see Home Shot this time on the Wamai. We don't see the Mozzie. Oh, actually, no, I apologize. We do see the Mozzie. Just different operator combination from before. But the streak does continue. Unlimited takes down Neo. That's going to be the soft destruction going down. And your primary entry, 6 and 9. Nice, but also really bad for Revenant.
It's not great. It's not great, Keg. Unlimited with that jump out. Some aggressive play that unfortunately was not able to be punished, despite the fact that when you jump out, you do get marked outside, but the attacking team just wasn't in a position to try and get a refrag. And now with Home Shot taking out Riddle, I imagine they won't be any position this time. And no, they're not. The sole remaining member actually inside of the building, the IQ, has now been taken off the board. Control Freak,
no.
He cooks a frag grenade, but then takes out the Wamai. Not sure where entirely that was, but as you can see, that Buck, he's currently still outside on that mining balcony, and that's likely where he got that kill, considering, well, that is where he's standing. He's still out to deal with Unlimited, though, who's currently just sitting prone below that mining window, I believe, and he's ripped a C4, waiting for that Buck to get a bit too close for comfort. He'll throw it out, and no, did he just shoot his own C4?
I mean, it wouldn't do anything, for the most part.
Why would he just pick it up?
I think he was afraid if he picked it up, the Buck would have already heard it go down and just have the angle. Because it was like right next, it was on the windowsill. But even then, it doesn't really matter because that Mozzie's gonna go down anyways. The 3 flawless round streak has unfortunately been ruined. We're not gonna see that 3rd one today. But Control Freak is barely hanging on by a thread. Normally, I would say it would just need a cough for him to go down, but I feel like that's a little insensitive. So a single breeze from Control Freak will take him down. It's gonna be Ven holding on to the round pretty much. Now, the diffuser is gonna be in Control Freak's hands. And as long as, never mind, it's actually going to be Ven who takes down hard support. But the Evil Eye, not quite a breeze, but a different kind of electronic breeze taking down Control Freak. Ven now below 50 HP, the last one alive, needs to take care of himself during this pinch. And also try to plant, but no, it's going to be Goin Nuclear taking another round. That's going to be 4 rounds in a row right now for Goin Nuclear. In fact, the last time we had seen a win from Revenant was the last round in the first half. And so far, the second half has been dominated by Goin Nuclear wins.
It has. It has just been part of my pun. But Goin Nuclear, they've been going a little nuclear on their defensive half. They've been racking in all the kills necessary. And you saw Unlimited. You saw that aggressive play. And that is just exemplary of the fact, or just exemplifies the fact, I suppose, be the proper phrasing of it, that Goin Nuclear, they're feeling much more comfortable on their map pick. They were down first, but as soon as they got to that defensive half, they're feeling much better about themselves. Capcan will get 6-picked off, and he's actually going to get 6-picked to the Oryx. Both of those operators we rarely see. And no, it'll be the Vigil to round out the operator roulette, a much more safe and standard pick than the previous 2. And that checks out for the most part, because on their kitchen defense, this was pretty much the same operator lineup we saw last time. Vigil and Jaeger being played by Teddy and Unlimited respectively. We're both playing on that second floor, and if you recall, the entry from Ven on that second floor was denied for virtually the entire round because of it. They never gave up their positions until about it was a 3v5, 2v5, in which they rotated down and got those last 2 kills. And if that continues with the mute as well, could potentially put some jammers upstairs and could have been the reason that Ven took so long and, well, ended up not actually clearing out that top floor. But either way, if the same precedent follows and Goin Nuclear get a flawless, or they continue that precedent as they got a flawless on kitchen last time, and this might be the final round we see of the series.
Absolutely, and there's a very high chance this could be the final round as well, but Revenant has been doing such a great job on Cafe so far. It's just that they lost steam when it came to their attacking side right now. But yet, like you mentioned before, with Teddy and Unlimited being on that second floor, completely denying the vertical play, that was a huge reason why Revenant did not win that last round. The Maverick wall did barely open up. It became soft wall mode once it was fully opened up, but even then, Homeshot did get an amazing 3K in that round because of it, and it worked out really well for them. But again, I'm curious to see if we see that pinch once more. It's going to be this the bakery wall, this other one opening up instead of the primary bakery wall, and it's not going to find a lot of action going down. But no, up from above, they know Teddy's upstairs now with the hole through mining. But Support gets the opening kill onto Riddle, taking down that Zofia once more. Now, the Zofia, unfortunately, usually having been gone down, I believe last time we were on Kitchen as well in the same situation. It's going to be Ven, kind of pseudo-stalled out once more, not really seeing anybody, but he's pre-firing quite a bit, trying to get those penetration kills, or at least trying to scare off whoever's on red stairs or in mining, but unfortunately, I don't believe anybody is there anymore, except for maybe Teddy, but even then in a much safer position, if not in the room adjacent.
No, we saw Unlimited rotate down those brown stairs, and he's likely rejoining his team down below. Could have potentially rotated back up, but again, we'll just have to see. A C4 will fly out from hard support and not meet anybody, and he'll just be spotted below that reinforced wall. He'll take 50 HP in damage, but he's still got 50 remaining. I don't know why I said jammage there. Ooh, Homeshot, though. He's continuing to jam this matchup. Takes out Control Freak the Maverick. And what do you know? He's impeded in his duty once more. He got the soft wall last time, but now he won't even be able to finish his job last time. Then will fire some incredibly close shots down onto the castle, but isn't able to take off the head of the American operator. And he'll remain inside of code check unimpeded from denying that bit of map control for the attackers. Hard support will try and finish the job onto Revenant. Takes out Neo as W. Gets a refrag onto the Star Fragger from going nuclear. And then he picks up the castle. Oh! But he also picks up W in the crossfire. And while it is certainly unfortunate, he does have a fair chance of winning this. It's a 1v2, still 40 seconds left, and two of the defenders, the remaining two defenders, are both on reduced HP. Teddy on 25 and hard support on 50. With the proximity alarms going off, they likely know where that buck is. He'll try to push inside of that bakery double bar. Thankfully, nobody's contesting him all that directly, but the Vigil might just be above, but it won't matter if he's above because hard support is inside of prep and takes the head right off the buck, who gets shot so bad he leaves the game instantly. And going nuclear, they take their own map pick 7-4 and the series 2-0.
I mean, all you can really say about that second half, Lynx, is yikes, because we did not see Revenant take a single round in the second half. They had such a strong lead, especially after their frankly not so hot loss in Clubhouse that last round. But Homeshot going 14-7 overall was a beautiful game from him. In fact, it was a beautiful game from everyone all around on Goin Nuclear's side. But I mean, it just became small mistakes on Revenant's side, which are culminated to a very, very big mistakes. A lot of I would say almost lack of droning too. I mean, Ven on both kitchen sites, should have been able to push inside mining, or at least that second floor, and take down at least Teddy or Unlimited had he used a drone. So I'm not really sure what happened there with the intel game on Revenant's side, but overall they should have had a really much bigger chance on that second half, but they dropped the ball. I mean, there's not really much else you can say. You can't sugarcoat it. They had such a strong beginning, and they had such a fizzle out in that second half.
It is. There was a lot more hope that Revenant, especially with that initial half, would make it a bit closer of a series. And as Keg said, put it best, it just fizzled out towards the end. And they went out with a whimper, and it was 5 rounds in a row for Goin Nuclear to seal it out. And important to note, that match was to see who would take, I believe, yes, second place. And now it'll be Goin Nuclear. They're now tied with Digital Dynasty for 3 points, still behind Unreal Nightmare, who's currently with 4. But that means that Revenant, they're still stuck at 2 points in a three-way tie for that third place spot. I mixed up 3 and way because they're right next to each other. It happens.
It does, yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, the mistakes happen. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of hesitation from attackers getting onto sites, and we definitely saw that there with Revenant's side as well in both games. And, you know, unfortunately, that last round kind of all culminated into that same exact mantra of just trying to find those angles, waiting for the defenders to become aggressive when they never do. And just on top of that, that final TK was really the nail in the coffin for Revenant's side. But unfortunately, they will be losing out on that second place spot, and it's going to be going nuclear. Keeping going with those points, and I believe we will have a short break into an interview. I could be mistaken there. So we might potentially have an interview. It's a little up for debate right now, but once we come back from the break, you'll know when we have an interview because we'll be interviewing.
Indeed.